and welcome to the February edition of Free For All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 with the Bismarck Downtowners. I am Dawn Cobb, the Executive Director, and with me in the studio today is Kate, our magnificent Marketing Director and Assistant Director, and on our boards, Jim Walsh, who always is a superstar on Super Talk. Yes. All right. Well, we have a wonderful show coming up for you guys today. We have a couple of guests that will join us in studio or on the phone, and they will be joining us in the next couple of segments. Our first guest will be Hollis McIntosh Hyde. She is the director of Northern Plains Dance, and Northern Plains Dance has one of their big events of the year, their choreographer showcase coming up in downtown next week. And we'll get you all up to date with all the details and their upcoming events in their next segment. And following Hollis, we will have Michelle Kaufman. Michelle is a business owner in downtown Bismarck, as well as the event manager at 1603 Main Events, which is also in downtown Bismarck. 1603 has a slew of events coming up in the next 2 weeks, and we'll get you all the details in that segment. So if you have any questions or would like to chat with us during our show today, please call us at 663-1270. All right, let's get the show rolling. Kate, want to let us know a few things that are coming up?
Yeah, we have some events coming up in downtown Bismarck, and Michelle's going to go in depth with us a little bit about some of those that are happening at 1603, but there's just a million things to do in town. Encourage you to get involved, especially in downtown Bismarck. Coming up this Friday is one of the symphony's best Pops concerts that they do throughout the year. They do a few Pops concerts, and this one is their Dixieland Jazz concert. It's well known. It's really fun. It's really a subset of some people that play with the Bismarck Band and Symphony Orchestra: clarinet, upright bass, trumpets. And they make a jazz ensemble out of it and do some really fun Dixieland style jazz things. So I've been to it a couple of times. It's a really fun event. Check it out. The Bismarck Band and Symphony Orchestra's Pops concert, Dixieland Jazz at 1603 Main Events today. Today's Friday. That's right.
That's right. And it's really fun to be a part of this concert because it's really an intimate setting as well. So it's basically just a smaller crowd and these great performers.
And they've taken this Pops concert, the Dixieland Jazz concert, on the road a lot. It's been up at BSC Energy Center, which was a fun location, again, now at 1603, I think, for the last couple of years. So, again, yeah, you're right, an intimate setting. It's not, the symphony's always great. That's a little more, I don't want to say highbrow, but it's a little bit more. And this is just kind of let your hair down and go nuts, eat some gumbo. And
Dixieland is always so peppy. You just want to tap your foot and dance in your seat.
It's a great concert for the community, so check it out. Dixieland Jazz tonight, 1603 Main Events, the Bismarck Band and Symphony Orchestra.
Also coming up this weekend, starting today, is the 39th Annual Home Show, and that will be at the Bismarck Event Center today and tomorrow. So check that out. I heard that they have like 400 booths or something.
It's a big show.
Really huge.
And I think they've moved it back. It usually happens a little bit later than it's happening now, so they've moved it back into February. Obviously, there are partners on Free For All here, Super Talk and Fill In one of the Fridays, so check out their home show today and tomorrow. It's talk to home builders, from home builders to decorators to furniture thing. Anything that has to do with furnishing a home or building a home is going to be there, and it's a huge event. Like Don said, at the Bismarck Event Center. Feel free to park downtown in the ramps as well.
It's going to be a nice weekend.
Yeah,
so, right. Walk a couple of blocks.
If you fall into Peacock Alley and have a beer on the way there, that's all right too. So the home show, again, a big event in the community, almost 40 years, their 39th annual home show, today, tomorrow at the Bismarck Event Center. Also, Dakota Stage is presenting A Little Bit of Magic, February 20th. Check that out, which is Saturday. Again, they just finished their January main stage show. They're going to head right in the next few weeks into their next show, which I believe is a comedy. But there's always something going on at Dakota Stage. This past weekend they had stand-up comedy.
That's sold out quickly.
Both nights, yeah. So get tickets early. But again, they have a presentation. A Little Bit of Magic, Saturday, Dakota Stage, dakotastageltd.com for more information.
And also coming up tomorrow on Saturday is another event at 1603 Main Events called Murder Mystery Dinner Theater, Crime and Pun Ishment. So we can only imagine that it will be very punny and a roaring good time, because you're supposed to dress in 20s garb and kind of that mobster look maybe.
You know, they did one other, and we'll ask Michelle, she's coming on in our third segment, we'll ask her a little bit about how it went, but they've done one other murder mystery dinner thing, and you know, if it's not done well, it can be weird, but I have a feeling that, you know, from people that went to this last one that it worked out well, so we'll find out more about that again. That's also this Saturday at 1603 Main Events. Again, this is why we're having Michelle on the show, because there's a whole bunch of events coming up at 1603, but they're doing a wine and food pairing called Just Dessert. That's going to be February 23rd, also at 1603 Main Events.
And on a weekly basis, 1 Million Cups does an hour-long segment where they host an entrepreneur from either Bismarck, Mandan area or from the surrounding areas or North Dakota itself. And so the next 1 Million Cups in Bismarck, Mandan will be held at Dakota Stage next Wednesday, February 24th from 9 to 10 a.m. It's a really good program. It's a great way to get energized for the morning and meet people that are in the entrepreneurial field and just meet new people and business people. Yeah,
it's open to anyone. It's free if you're interested in networking with other entrepreneurs. Or you just want a free cup of coffee and listen to entrepreneurs, feel free to come. Like Don said, every Wednesday at Dakota Stage, 9 o'clock, 1 Million Cups. Again, at 1603 Main Events, we've got another event, February 26th, live comedy at 1603. I believe they did it one other time this year, and they're dipping their foot into doing some of those events. So if I hear anybody say within the next 2 weeks that they're bored and there's nothing to do in town, you'll have me and Jim to answer to, and we will, you know.
Yeah.
We'll rough you up a little bit. Mm-hmm. We will. So check that out. Live comedy 1603, February 26th.
As I had mentioned earlier, right away in the beginning of this show, Northern Plains Dance has their choreographer showcase celebrating 10 years of dance coming up next weekend, February 26th and 27th at the Belle Mayhews Auditorium. Please buy your tickets. This is a fabulous opportunity to see everything that they do, and it is one of my favorite events, and we'll talk to Hollis McIntosh Hyde in their next segment.
On the last event coming up, we wanted to mention Mac and Cheese Madness, the ultimate food and beer night. I believe McQuaid Distributing is going to get on this. Beer and macaroni and cheese. March 3rd at 1603 Main Events. Going to be a whole bunch of chefs with their specialty mac and cheese recipes. They'll be paired with some kind of beer. And then I think tickets are $6. Basically, you get to sample all the mac and cheese, sample the beers that they've been paired with. Don and I had sampled some from one of our downtown members that's gonna get in on the show. Yeah, there's tough things we have to do in this job, sample mac and cheese, but it was great. So check it out. Mac Madness, March 3rd, 1603 Main Events. We're going to take a quick break and be back with Northern Plains Dance. You're listening to Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Right now, 48.
On Twitter, Facebook, online, and YouTube. SuperTalk1270.com.
Super Talk 1270 with Free for All Fridays with the Bismarck Downtowners. Thanks for sticking with us. We are lucky enough to have our first guest in the studio today. Hollis McIntosh Hyde is the director of Northern Plains Dance, and they have their big choreographer showcase coming up downtown next weekend, Friday and Saturday, February 26th and 27th, at the Belle Mayhews Auditorium. Welcome, Hollis.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Thank you for flying over from Bismarck in the wind.
Well, you know, I actually saw a guy in a moped coming over the bridge. He looked like he was having a way harder time than me. Yeah.
Brave soul.
Fantastic. So first off, for people listening who may not know, tell us a little bit about Northern Plains Dance.
Well, Northern Plains Dance is a nonprofit organization whose mission is to serve the community through education and providing dance dance opportunities to the community. So, you know, training, performances, educational opportunities, we sort of do it all, but our goal is to make dance a part of everyone's life.
And Northern Plains Dance has kind of is it like a different teaching style maybe? It seems a little bit different than maybe some of the other schools.
Yep, absolutely. So there's a couple of different routes you can go when you're looking for dance training. And what we do is we stick pretty close to the traditional way of teaching dance. And we actually don't participate in dance competitions. We believe that students should learn how to dance, not just a dance, and that they should have the ability to participate in big professionally produced major performances instead of a 2-minute little snippet. So we do much more traditional sort of dance. Yep.
You guys, before we talk about the choreographer showcase, because that's what you have coming up, we want to talk about, but you've done some cool collaborative things with some of our other members. Really, the one that I think of the most is the Bismarck Downtowners Cooperative. Do you have anything coming up with them? Are you thinking about, is that going to be part of this?
It actually is.
Okay.
Yep. So we actually, 3 years ago, I think we formed a really, really cool partnership with the Bismarck Downtown Artists Cooperative. And mainly with Choreographer Showcase, they provide a lot of the artwork that we project on the back of the Bell stage for Choreographer Showcase. And then they actually also have the opportunity to showcase some of their work in our lobby, too. So it's a really kind of, cool opportunity for them to reach another audience, too.
You'd think and there's a lot of arts groups in the community, which is a good thing, I think, generally. But when you work together, you think it just opens you up to a wider audience. You might grab some of their people and vice versa. They might come and see what you do and
absolutely
and share some audience. So I think that's super cool.
Yeah.
And they're a member of ours too, so we like to see everybody work together.
Yeah, well, then you're going to be really excited about what I have to tell you about this
All
show.
right.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so let's get into this. Celebrating 10 years of dance, the choreographer showcase, again, coming up next weekend. So how did the event get started? And then let us know about your big news.
Sure, absolutely. So, like Dawn just said, it was 10 years ago that Choreographer Showcase got started, and I actually got an interesting email from Anthony Noah, who used to be the director of Northern Plains Dance. And he was actually talking about how it got started. And since he was the artistic director, he did all of the choreography for all of the performances. And he basically said he was talking to one of the dancers about giving him the opportunity to choreograph the other dancer so that the audience wouldn't just see Anthony's work. And that was sort of the basis for how this got going. It was a chance for him to step back and let Bismarck see what other people had in mind for dancing. And then it just sort of snowballed from there. That first year, there was only 4 pieces on the program. And actually, we're very excited that one of the pieces that is being performed next weekend was part of that original showcase.
Very
cool.
But
it has snowballed, and now we do typically about 8 or 9 what are known as dance pieces. So they're sort of standalone little snippets. A lot of them don't have stories or a very simple storyline. It's our version of abstract art.
Yeah.
So that's how it got started. And then 9 years have gone by, and we have done some really, really cool things. Yeah. And I can't remember the exact number, but I want to say that we're over 30 original dance pieces have premiered on the Bell stage through Northern Plains Dance. And so we are celebrating that this weekend.
I can't remember. It was a couple years ago. We went to one, and there was a screen, and it was there was like a train, and it was like a 20s.
Yeah, that was courtesy of me. Yeah. I did that. Yes,
that was one of my favorite ones. I thought, again, a way to use multimedia and way to use, You're right. It is a little more abstract, but in some ways, people can find things that they really like about it that if they're not maybe into traditional dance, they
this
can
is
get
the
a
show
kick
for
out
them
of it.
for sure. And one of the things that we are really proud of, and this is our little Bismarck Downtown Artists Cooperative tie-in, is that we are actually bringing back a whole bunch of guest musicians and guest artists who we've also worked with. And the last piece on the program is one that was done in, I think, 2009. And it actually has live artists painting live on stage with the dancers and a string quartet. It is like the epitome of what Showcase is all about. And so on the first night, I believe that Austin Schmaltz will be painting with Brian Hooshagen. The afternoon, Allie LaRock will be painting with Brian. And then on the closing night, Paul Newt will be painting with Brian. So we get a really cool chance to honor and, sort of thank and showcase the people who have been supportive in the visual art community, too.
That's a great idea. We're talking with Hollis. She's with Northern Plains Dance, talking about their choreographer showcase, which is coming up next week, February 26th and 27th at the Bell. And some great collaborations with our other downtown members. It's like, when your kids get along and you're like, oh, you're so happy, yeah. But supporting the art community in Bismarck and downtown is a bit of a hub of the arts community is really important because a rising tide, I think, sort of lifts all boats. So I was curious, what you expect for the show this year. Are you seeing that more people are coming to the shows? Is there, something you wish would happen in terms of the dance community and supporting you in Bismarck Mandan?
Well, I think the Choreographer Showcase is sort of the crown jewel of our season. It is also sort of the scariest, I think, to the public because it's not the Nutcracker, which is tied to a holiday, which is a wonderful, valuable thing on its own. It's not our spring performance, which is usually tied to a well-known fairy tale, which, again, a wonderful thing on its own. This is much more abstract, and I think that people tend to be more afraid of it. But really, I think that people should take a chance.
Yeah.
We have a really cool promotion going on right now that if you use some codes that we have out there on Facebook, you actually get 50% off your ticket. So there is no reason not to come and try it, and especially because this really is a best of performance. And like I said, it's the crown jewel. I'm incredibly proud of it, but I would love to pack the bell. So we only need, 2,400 people to show up next weekend.
Or just 800 people to go 3 times.
Right, or 800 3 times. Yes, that would be wonderful too.
Yes. But just trying it out is how I first came upon the Choreographer Showcase because a number of friends of mine and I decided, and this was early on in the event, and it was something totally different. And after that first time going, it's like, yes, I want to go to this every time. And I think I've missed 2. So we're actually coming back from Fargo to make sure we're going.
That is awesome.
So if anybody needs any reassurance that this is a phenomenal production, please make sure and go, because it is worth shortening a trip to make sure you're back in town.
Well, thank you for that. And the other thing to remember is this is actually a really good opportunity for children, too. Sure. Because the longest piece on the program is only 13 minutes, you can think of this as a little bit like, sitcom dance, meaning that, there's a snippet and then there's a little break, a little commercial break, and then you see another little snippet. And so when people get worried about, will my kid sit still for 45 minutes, the fact is, we will capture their attention for 5 minutes, and then they have, 30 seconds of wiggle time, and then 5 more minutes. And so it's a really good way to introduce kids to dance, too.
Yeah. We're talking with Hollis. She's with Northern Plains Dancer Choreographer Showcase coming up February 26th, 27th, downtown Bismarck at the Bell Mayhew's Auditorium. Just quickly want to talk about some of the other things you have coming up. I think in those Facebook memes where it's like what I actually do, what my parents think I do. Yours is what everybody thinks I do is the Nutcracker. What you actually do is probably, at your computer doing other things, things like that. I was thinking about with the Downtowners, what people think we do is street fair. What we actually do are at meetings all day long. But you do a lot of other things during the year that not just the Nutcracker. Obviously, the Choreographer Showcase is a big event for you. But what else do you have going on and want to let people know about?
Oh, my gosh. Well, so much, yeah. We, of course, have another show left in our season, which we are doing Alice in Wonderland in May. And then we are, as soon as Choreographer Showcase is over, we really have to get planning our official summer camp schedule, which is really exciting. We have... I think last year we had something like 42 camps for kids ages 3 through 12, and it's just sort of a scheduling dream come true if you're into that kind of thing. So, planning for the summer, and I'm really excited that I have a lot of students who are actually going elsewhere to get some training this summer, gotten into really big programs, Colorado Ballet, Milwaukee Ballet, and so some of it is, helping them prep for that and getting, all of that stuff ready to go. So we're pretty excited. Yeah,
that's very cool.
Kudos to you for having students
Chitlins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, wonderful job.
Yeah.
Nice.
One apparently is going to California. That was new yesterday.
Oh, dear.
I know, poor thing, right?
So much sunshine.
Tell us a little bit about, for the Choreographer Showcase, where people can get tickets, how much they are, and the times of the performances.
Sure. So tickets range from $16 to $30, and there are discounts for children under 12 and seniors. Tickets are available on our website, northernplainsdance.org, along with more information about the performance. And performances are next weekend, the 26th at 7:30, and the 27th. We have 2 performances, one at 2:30 and one at 7:30.
So if you have little kids, maybe that matinee performance on Saturday would be
absolutely. And the
better.
box office of the Bell is open for tickets 1 hour prior to showtime. So if you have a little kid and you're not sure if nap time is going to work into it, and you don't want to buy your tickets ahead of time, you can certainly make a last-minute decision and head on over.
Is it assigned seating for a choreographer showcase?
It is.
It
Yep.
is, okay.
Yep. All of Northern Plains Dance's show, you buy a specific ticket.
Seat.
Yep.
Okay. Very nice.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we're excited. We'll be there on Saturday, the 27th, for the choreographer showcase. Again, they have Alice in Wonderland coming up for the spring show. I'm sure you can always buy tickets, as far ahead in advance. It really helps haul us out.
Yes, it helps my stress level if you buy your tickets ahead of time.
Haul us with Northern Plains Dance. Again, check out the choreographer showcase coming up at the Bell Mayhew's Friday, and then 2 performances on Saturday, the February 26th, and then Saturday, the February 27th performances. Great for kids. Get your tickets. Get them early. Help haul us out. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Super Talk, 1270 a.m.
Right now, 48.
Weekends with Twilight Zone Radio on Super Talk 1270.
Thank you for sticking with us on Free for All Fridays with the Bismarck Downtowners on Super Talk 1270 AM. We want to give a great big thank you to Hollis McIntosh Hyde with Northern Plains Dance for joining us in the studio in the last segment to talk about their upcoming choreographers showcase, 10 Years of Dance, coming up at the Bell Mayhew's February 26th and 27th. Great show all the time, so get your tickets and make sure that you go to this event. Yeah. Whew. Okay, speaking of events, we're going to be talking with Michelle Kaufman right now. She is the event coordinator at 1603 Main Events in downtown Bismarck. Hi, Michelle. How are you today?
Hi. Good, thank you.
We didn't know if you were the event coordinator, but we know you coordinate events. So I don't know if that was your official title, but we've given it to you now. So
Okay, that works.
If you'd like something else, you can shout it out. But
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, I'm the general manager. So
General
I do a little
manager.
bit of
Okay.
it. Yep.
General manager, that sounds so much like bigger and overarching. So thank you for letting us know
Yeah.
that.
We were just talking in the last segment, in our first segment, about all these fun upcoming events happening in downtown Bismarck. Obviously, the choreographer showcase, perennial event that happens downtown at the Bell that we really enjoy. But Michelle, you've been working overtime, is what I'm going to say, getting public events happening at 1603 Main Events. You've got a lot of things coming up the next couple weeks. But for those who don't know, where is 1603 Main Events and what is it?
Sure. So just like our name, we are located at 1603 East Main Avenue here in Bismarck, and we are in the old Sweetheart Bakery. If anybody remembers that and where that is, it's been renovated into a very cool warehouse-style event center. So we do a lot of different things over here. We've done a lot of weddings and corporate events in the past, and we're just starting to really branch out into more unique events that are open to the public as well.
And this Friday, I think people are pretty well aware, Dixieland Jazz is going to be there. It's a pops concert that the Symphony always puts on every year in the spring, February, March time frame. So check that out tonight. But one of the ones we really wanted to talk about, and I think people were really curious about, is the murder mystery. And you've done one already. Tell people kind of how it works, and if you had a good turnout, and you've got another one coming up here very soon.
Yes, so we hosted our first murder mystery in January, and it went really well. We had about 250 guests, and we brought in 8 actors from around the country to facilitate and kind of put the event on for us. And everybody just had an amazing time. It was so much fun watching everyone get into it. A lot of people dressed up. Each one of these has a different theme, so our last one being a masquerade theme. And then this one upcoming on Saturday is going to be a 1920s gangster-style theme.
Sweet.
So people are encouraged to dress up as much as they want to really get into it. And the groups that we bring in to facilitate this do an excellent job of making sure that everybody participates, that everybody has fun, and that it's a really high-energy, great night.
And so do the costumes reflect the mystery as well?
They can. So the groups that come in bring in some of their own costumes, and they pick people from the crowd that really want to go above and beyond and really get into a character, and then they kind of dress them in that character. So there's audience participation in that everybody that's here has to try to solve the mystery, and it's similar to Clue. You have to figure out what the murder weapon was and what the opportunity was and the motive and all of that kind of stuff. But then there's some people that can really get into it and play different characters as well.
When you mentioned Clue, Kate's eyes just lit up and got really big, like, yes, this is my thing.
That's right. I was going to mention, I mean, if you're used to playing Clue, or, you played Clue, or saw the sweet movie Clue that came out in like the, I don't know, late 80s, early 90s, you kind of get a flavor for what's going on. And you said there's audience participation. Obviously, that's why people like to do it. Do you think people are scared off by that a little bit, that they'll get called on, so to speak, or have people really embraced it and, tried to figure it out? How are you feeling the North Dakota audience is responding to audience participation?
Yeah, we had a lot of people that walked in the door kind of nervous. They had to point out that they'd never done this before. Didn't know
Don't expect anything from me.
And you could tell they were kind of nervous, but when everyone was leaving, they were overwhelmingly saying, oh, we had a great time. That was so much more fun than I even expected it to be. And the group that came in told us afterwards, you guys had just an excellent crowd. A lot of times when we do this for the first time in a city, some people are kind of apprehensive and don't really get into it, but everybody really got into it.
Good.
And we had an age range of 22 to 72. And it was pretty even across the board of all age groups. So it was really all ages that had a great time.
We're talking with Michelle Kaufman with 1603 Main Events. Their murder, mystery, dinner theater, crime, and punishment is going to be tomorrow night, Saturday night at 1603 Main Events. Obviously, there's some kind of pun, something going on. I don't know if you can say much about that, but I love the title because I love puns.
Yes, we're going to kind of keep it a little bit under wraps, other than the fact that it is the 1920s style theme. So people want to come in their best flapper outfits or, gangster attire, or, they can come as they are, too. There's no dress code. So definitely we don't want people to be scared off if they don't know what to wear, because they can come as they are. But definitely more fun if you kind of dress up and get into it a little bit.
Right. Mm-hmm. So murder, mystery, dinner theater, crime, and punishment tomorrow, Saturday at 1603 Main Events. There's also a bar, so if you need some liquid courage, I think they can help you out there as well. Then you really get into the character, I think.
Absolutely.
You really work it. The next event you have coming up by 1603 is Just Dessert, a decadent wine and food pairing. Tell us a little bit about that event.
Yes. So once a month, we are going to do some fun wine exploration events, and this is our event for February. So we will be doing a wine and food pairing with dessert wines and desserts. And so we spent a lot of time picking out a very unique and varied selection of wines to be tasting for this event, as well as our chef Grego is hand preparing all of the desserts to pair with them. So you come, you sit, you drink and eat, and there's a presentation given about the different wines that you're drinking, where they're from, their history, and why we paired them with different things. And then you just kind of sit and socialize with the people at your table while you finish your desserts, and it's just a really fun, casual, laid-back evening out on a weeknight.
And just Michelle at 1603, they're talking about their wine and dessert event. When we've done the Art and Wine Walk downtown, usually kind of in the early summer, a lot of times Moscatos have won out, and people really do like those kind of sweeter dessert wines, or something like that. So it seems to be fairly popular in Bismarck, for at least for the ladies that like to go out and have a good time, rocking the dessert wines.
Right, yeah, and we started, with this just last month, and we did a just Moscato tasting last month, and so it just seemed fitting to go to the dessert wines for February, being with Valentine's Day, but each month will be a little bit different theme and idea, and the idea being that you can come and experience something different each time.
And speaking of experiencing different things, you also have live comedy coming up again on February 26th.
Yes. So one thing I want to mention is that most of our events do sell out in advance. Yes. We do have some tickets available still for Murder Mystery and the wine event, but they do need to be purchased in advance.
Sure.
So it's not something to just show up to, just so people are aware of that. And we can talk about where tickets are available too. This coming comedy event in February is actually already sold out, and it sold out weeks ago. So
Nice.
these have been extremely popular for us. We have another one coming up March 24th, and we are currently selling tickets for that one.
Can you tell us who the comedian is?
So we work with a national talent booking agency to bring in comedians from around the country. They're not necessarily people that you would recognize by name, but
Sure,
if you read
sure.
their bios, they've done a lot of great cameos and appearances on lots of different shows on Comedy Central and throughout cable television. So we have 2 or 3 comedians for each event that we hold.
Wow.
I've been really surprised. Dakota Stage has done it. They do a few throughout the year, just in between their main stage shows and things like that. And they usually, sell out as well. So it seems to be something that the Bismarck Mandan community is really responding to. It's sort of like it's okay to laugh when you come.
Right.
So
Yeah,
get
I
into it.
remember many years ago when I first moved back to the area, another restaurant in town did like a touring comedy group every month or something like that, or every other month, and it was always a blast. And it was never really people that I'd known before, so similar to the situation, but it's always fantastic and so funny.
Another cool event that you have coming up, and kind of the last one we wanted to mention, was the Mac Madness, the Ultimate Food and Beer Night, your mac and cheese cook-off. Tell people a little bit about that. Obviously, again, Dakota Stage has the same thing. Always buy your tickets in advance if you can. Try not to show, it helps the organizers. But tell us a little bit. This is a new event. It's mac and cheese and beer.
Yes, and I hate to say it, but I believe this one is now sold out as well.
It's okay. Don't hate to say it. Be so excited.
That's great.
It is
I
great.
mean, I'm excited about that for sure, but if people haven't gotten their tickets yet, they might be a little bit bummed.
Right.
True.
This is something that we would like to try to do again, just because it has been so amazingly popular and well received. So we are doing a mac and cheese cook-off. We've invited all of the local restaurants to participate, and we had 5 or 6 take us up on it. So we've got some different places coming in and doing their best version of macaroni and cheese. Anybody can come. It's all ages. For $6 a ticket, you get all-you-can-eat mac and cheese and then 4 beer samples from McQuaid's for those that are over 21. And then the public will vote on who their favorite chef was, what their favorite dish was, and 1603 Events will donate $500 to the charity of their choice to the winner.
Which is a great idea, again. And macaroni and cheese and beer. I don't know that you could have gone wrong with that, Michelle, in Bismarck, I got to say.
Yeah, I really
oysters,
just wanted to eat all of the macaroni
right,
and cheese,
maybe not.
so it was an easy one.
We're talking with Michelle. She's at 1603 Events. Obviously, they have a lot of things coming up. Dixieland tonight, Murder Mystery Saturday, wine event, mac and cheese event, which is March 3rd, stand-up comedy March 24th. So tell people where they can generally get tickets for all the events.
Yes, if you are on Facebook, that's the best way, just to go to our Facebook page. The events are all very easily laid out with links to buy tickets. But you can also just pick up tickets in person here at 1603 from 11 to 2 weekdays, and over at Hay Ocean during any of their business hours. They're open 7 days a week.
Perfect. Well, lots going on in Bismarck Mandan, not just the Choreographer Showcase, but all these fun events at 1603 Main Events. Dakota Stage, thanks so much, Michelle, for joining us. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back on Super Talk 1270 AM.
Currently, it's 52.
Here's Sean Hannity, weekday afternoons on Super Talk 1270.
And thanks for sticking with us on Super Talk 1270 AM. We are Dawn and Kate from the Bismarck Downtowners on Free For All Fridays. We want to give a great big thank you to our guests today, Hollis McIntosh Hyde with Northern Plains Dance, and Michelle Kaufman, the general manager of 1603 Main Events. We spent half the show talking about so many events coming up, so many fun things to do in downtown Bismarck and the community. So make sure you're looking for something to do. There's a plethora of things that you guys or anybody can take in.
Right. And like Michelle said, the better response they get from the community, the more of these events they do, and the more there is to do. So just support them,
Right.
and it'll naturally bubble up, and it'll be great.
That's right. So anything that you're looking forward to. There's dance, there's the symphony, comedy, murder mystery dinners, wine tastings, Pinterest nights. There's something for everybody all the time, and all ages, really. So make sure to check out Northern Plains Dance and 1603 for some really fantastic community events coming up in the next couple of weeks.
Also, Dakota Stage 2 with their their programming and also with 1 Million Cups that they're hosting there. Check out, really, just keep checking out those event spaces because check their calendars. They've got a million things going on, which is just phenomenal.
And besides the event spaces, a lot of businesses and restaurants in our downtown and the area always have different things coming up, wine tastings or wine pairings or what have you. So we do put out a newsletter every other week. A lot of times it has a ton of events on there. Check it out and get tickets early to these events because they are usually pretty popular.
Like Michelle said, and like Amber with Dakota Stage said, their comedy sold out ahead of time, and then you show up the night of and you're a little disappointed. So yeah, get it early. It's great to see that people are embracing these other events and things to do in the community. It's really fun to see. So check it out. And like Dawn said, go to our website, downtownbismarck.com. Sign up for our newsletter. We put one on every other week. It's got a list of events. Plus follow our social media, Facebook, and our very active Twitter account for those wine dinners and things like that. We try and keep you abreast of those things in downtown Bismarck. We also wanted to welcome our new member to the Downtowners Association, Fireside Office Solutions. We need a printer. Just is great timing, honestly. So, want to thank them for joining the Downtowners and supporting the Downtowners mission, which is great. Fireside Office Solutions. Check them out. firesideos.com.
That's right. Good memory, Kate. Thank you for that.
Also, and if you get our sweet newsletter that Madison in our office and myself put together every other week, we just released our applications for our Downtowners Street Fair event, which is September 16th and 17th, and also vendor applications for our Downtowners German Days event, which is July 14th, 15th, and 16th in downtown Bismarck. So if you sell any kind of deep fried anything, you craft anything, you are sell things of German origin, check out the vendor applications. We would love to have you at one of our events. We always fill up the street fair, so check out those applications early and get them in. German Days has been really fun. Last year was our first year doing the German Days event, so we are still looking for some German food vendors, as well as crafters or polka bands.
Kate and Madison have been working night and day looking for polka and old-time music bands and oompa bands, maybe if there's somebody out there that wants to do that and perform and have a little bit of fun. Oh, the crowd will love you for it.
And people dance. It's great. I mean, we only have polka bands and oompa bands and standards at German Days. So apparently there was a gap in time where it wasn't super sexy to be a tuba player or an accordionist. And that's why we're having trouble finding some. But if you know any bands, kind of even in the region, let us know. Go to downtownbismarck.com. You can contact us that way. If you play the accordion, we want to hear from you.
And make sure when you do come to German Days this year to ask Kate and Madison to show you a little bit of their fancy footwork and see how they've progressed. I have been teaching them over the last year and a half or so how to polka.
Progressed, regressed, one of the two.
How about just gressed?
We're going to be releasing some more details of that German Days event as we go forward. We've extended it a little bit. We've got some fun event that's going to kick it off and some things that we're doing in addition to what we did last year, which was really fun and, again, encouraging. I was really surprised how many people own lederhosen in this community. That's just hanging in a closet, and they dusted it off and came out in full gear, which was awesome. So we're going to do some fun stuff, I think, with dressing up and maybe sausage things that I can't announce right now, but it's gonna be a lot of fun. German Days, July 14th through the 16th in downtown Bismarck. If you know any polka bands, let us know.
And make sure to mark Street Fair on your calendar. Street Fair is every year the second weekend after Labor Day. So you can always count on Street Fair being that weekend. It is September 16th and 17th this year. We are looking forward to sunny skies and great weather. So I think we're forecasting out that far.
Yeah, if you also are a nonprofit organization and you're looking for a fundraiser, Street Fair has for many years, and this is our 43rd Street Fair, for many years been a fundraiser for fraternal groups, service groups in the area, Lions clubs, things of that nature.
Boy Scouts and such.
Right.
Churches,
So
yeah.
I know it's kind of early to talk about street fair, but this is the time that we're planning it and getting those vendor applications done. So I wanted to let you know. Also, Dawn, we were going to talk a little bit about a couple of new businesses that are coming into downtown Bismarck.
Yeah, we have a couple of new boutiques that will be opening up shortly in March, I believe. They will both be trying to open their doors. We have Lula Bee opening on the corner of 3rd and Broadway in the former Bridge Loans location. So it's right next door to Modernize, or the 3rd Street parking ramp. And then we have Stella's Gifts that will be opening almost on the kitty corner from them, but on 3rd and Main, right next to the former Warren's Locks and Keys location, or just south or just north from
I
JNR
think you've
Vacuum.
lost everybody already.
I'm sorry. Sorry about that, Kate. So Stella's Boutique will be opening just across the street from JNR Vacuum to the north, 3rd and Main in Bismarck.
There we go. If you knew where Warren's Locks and Keys was, they're kind of occupying sort of part of that space, or Rhythm Records. They're on that same block. Lula Bee's on a very busy corner on 3rd and Broadway, which is nice to have that kind of retail element in that storefront now, returning it back to a retail element. So a couple other boutiques opening in downtown Bismarck. I foresee that there'll be some more announcements as well for some new businesses coming into downtown Bismarck as the spring comes up. There's been some, behind the scenes work, and I think you'll hear a couple announcements coming up shortly.
Yeah, it won't take much longer anymore. Exciting things coming.
Also, we wanted to remind you, we added to our website a little parking guide for downtown Bismarck. It is not that hard, but we're trying to help you out. Just go to downtownbismarck.com/parking. It'll give you all the details on how to use the ramps, how to use on-street parking. I won't be able to help you parallel park, but how to use it. North Dakotans and parallel parking have not gotten along as far as I've been working in downtown Bismarck. But how the on-street parking works, a lot of people think that maybe you could park in private parking lots downtown, and have unfortunately found out maybe that if they're private parking lots, they're private for a reason, and your car is missing, and got towed. So always, be aware of the signs. Again, that's in our downtownbismarck.com/parking post. We'll help you out a little bit if you've got some questions about parking.
Jim is finding something quite funny, which makes me laugh. But anyway, if you are interested in working at any of our wonderful businesses downtown, usually some of them are hiring, or many are hiring. We do have a couple of that are actively looking for new employees right now. So check out our great businesses downtown if you're looking for a fun new job.
Yeah, we've been talking with a lot of our business owners, anything from restaurants like Fireflowers hiring, right up to the banks and teller positions. There's still, there's some talk about oil and things like that, but the economy is still just cracking along in downtown Bismarck. We're still in need of employees, preferably cool ones, because we like to work downtown with cool people. But so if you want to learn to be a barista and you're at Fireflower, you want to get into the banking world, we've got everything downtown, any job that you could basically think of. So check it out. Again, downtownbismarck.com. We'll be posting some of those things on our website. It was a great show. It's a great Friday. It's like 50-some degrees outside. We're gonna head out.
Go tan.
Jim's gonna head out too. He's gonna start tanning right out here in front of the station. But if you're looking for any more information on downtown Bismarck, please visit our website, downtownbismarck.com. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/downtownbismarck, or on Twitter at downtownbisnd for Don Kopp. Jim Walsh, I'm Kate Herzog with the Downtowners. We'll see you next month on Free for All Fridays on Super Talk 1270 AM.